We have this idea that Tantra is something quite exotic, complicated, and full of esoteric practices around sex. Well, all this is not completely false, but it is not quite true. Actually, Tantra is based on three principles or pillars, you could say. The first one is that beyond this jungle of symbols and complex words, Tantra is always describing your experience. Because the path of Tantra is not so much to reach a super state of consciousness than to recognize what is given here and now. Tantra, as one master said, Utpaldeva, Tantra is the path of recognition, recognizing. You know, he tells us of a story of a princess who has heard of a beautiful, wonderful prince, and they have exchanged letters for a long time, and they know each other very well. They know of the qualities of each other. And one day that prince arrives in the court of the king, and he is just there in front of the princess. But what happens is that the princess finds no satisfaction in this. Why? Because she sees the prince, but she does not recognize him. That is, she does not recognize in what she sees the qualities she has been hearing about. So she has no real satisfaction. And it is the same with what we call cosmic consciousness, divine presence, and so on. Consciousness, our true being, the true essence of everything, is seen. For if it was not seen, nothing could be seen. So everything is seen in the mirror of consciousness. But consciousness is not recognized. That is, her qualities, her virtues, her powers, her shaktis are not acknowledged. They are not appreciated. They are not tasted as they should. If someone asks me in the street, are you aware? Are you conscious? I would answer yes. And so what? What about this so-called cosmic consciousness? I see consciousness, but I don't see anything cosmic in it. And so the tantric teaching is there to help us recognize, realize what is given here. So in spite of all the symbols, mandalas, mantras, chakras, kundalinis, and so on, Tantra is really about what is given here and now. And whenever you read or listen to Tantra teachings, you should never forget that principle. All the teachings, even when they seem to be very exotic, they really speak about you. The second principle is the principle of attention. You know, Tantra is about attention. All the practices, so many different practices of yoga, pranayama, the breathing, movement, dancing, poetry, studying, philosophy, and all those meditation practices, whether you are still or moving, they are all about attention. With what do you practice? Practice, yes, but with what? With attention. Attention is the greatest act of generosity. Paying attention is paying, it is giving your time. So this is love. This is what the tradition calls bhakti, to take part in, to participate, participation. And this is another word for love, devotion. So that is the second principle. Whatever you do, it is all a matter of where do you put your attention, because we are always working with our attention. Whatever we do, we are concentrating on something and forgetting the rest. So here it's all about vichara. You maybe have heard of the great sage, Indian sage, Raman Maharshi, who spoke about Atma Vichara. This is often misunderstood. We translate Atma Vichara by self-investigation. But Vichara, at least in the Tantra sense, in the sense that use this word, is not about investigation like a police, like an FBI investigation. It's not like that. It is rather paying attention, deep diving into yourself, into what is again given here and now. Attention. Vichara is about attention, is paying attention. It is looking well, deeply, with your whole being, that is, with your whole attention. And the third principle of Tantra is transformation. Tantra is not about stopping thoughts, not like in the so-called classical yoga of Patanjali. It is not about nirodha, stopping your mind. It is not about renouncing, becoming a monk or a nun, though those practices are very beautiful as well. But it is rather about transformation, transforming with attention, being well educated by the teachings. So the first principle is that whatever you hear in Tantra is about your experience. Second thing is that the principle of all practices is attention. And third is that those practices of attention, they aim to transform your experience rather than to stop or change it or renounce it. That is, it is more about alchemy, transmutation, transmuting brass into gold. And just like we said at the beginning, the princess, when she recognizes the prince, well, nothing changes objectively, but subjectively for her, everything changes. And she finds deep satisfaction just by having paid attention and having recognized the Shaktis of the prince that she had learned about through the letters and the speech of other people, and making the connection, the yoga, with what she is seeing here and now. And that changes what she is seeing, the taste of it, the perfume, the flavor of it, the flavor of the experience. So those three things, a deep description of our experience here and now, practicing with attention leads to transformation. And just to give one more example, Tantra is not about renouncing desire. It is about transformation of desire. But this, I will speak of it maybe in another video. Just to let you know, there will be, starting next year, October, a course in Tantra, because I find that Tantra, even though it is popular, people don't know about it because there are no good sources about it. And there is a good reason for this, is that Tantra is a tradition in Sanskrit, and very few people know Sanskrit. So I want to offer a course in Tantra teachings and practices based directly on Sanskrit sources, on the tradition itself, so that you really have the real thing and you can make your choices what you want to make out of it. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.